AI, edited by Stella Wang. Last night, I went on a date with Hugo 360 to watch Napoleon, a historical masterpiece directed by Ridley Scott, also known as Director S. In order to better appreciate this film, we reviewed European history in advance, thanks to Overly Simplified on YouTube. The most surprising discovery was that this famous French dictator was actually Italian. Napoleon was born in a small town in Italy that was taken over by France. While his father quickly adapted to and accepted the French way of life, young Napoleon was rebellious and had a strong aversion to everything French. As a result, he often got beaten by his father. So, my dear audience, if you want to succeed in a patriarchal society and your father beats you, congratulations. Your life has a successful start. Actually, I think in the YouTube video they said his father was a sissy and his mother beat him all the time. Napoleon's savior for his social anxiety. In history, it is recorded that Napoleon, due to his short stature, was often bullied, and his childhood trauma of social anxiety is depicted in the film through a combination of visuals, music, and dialogue. At the beginning of the film, young Napoleon, after completing his first Mission Impossible, assigned by his boss, is invited to a high society evening social in France. In a lively nightclub, Napoleon has a stern face, stiff body, and is silent. It is obvious that he is experiencing social anxiety. At this moment, he sees the charming widow Josephine, whose fair breasts and short hair stand out in the crowd. Young Napoleon locks his gaze on Josephine's short hair and ample bosom, and the audience can define this moment as a traditional love at first sight. To elaborate in the social setting that triggers his social anxiety, young Napoleon finds a lifeline that helps him stay calm. The beautiful, matured woman with short hair and ample bosom. This reminds me of the badminton tennis player character in Chinese TV drama Nothing But 30, who overcame his fear of competing by focusing his gaze on the face of a beautiful, matured woman with an ample bosom. The dating scenes between young Napoleon and Josephine are delightful. Joaquin and Kobe have added many humanizing sparkles to this purely mutually beneficial marriage in history. Josephine is no longer depicted as disgusted by Napoleon, as recorded in history. Instead, after discovering the intense gaze this young man directed at her, she takes the initiative and attempts to start a conversation. However, the awkward Napoleon is very nervous. He starts reciting his resume, interrupting Josephine's natural self-introduction, and left the scene with a cool, short attitude. In the date, it is the matured woman who shows wisdom. After a chance encounter at the nightclub, Josephine sends her son to act as Cupid, not only revealing her widow's status to young Napoleon, but also providing him with an opportunity to visit as a hero. Josephine arranges the reunion smoothly and naturally. Audience members who are single and are looking for a partner are suggested to learn from Josephine. Afterwards, the two have a successful date. Napoleon behaves gentlemanly and naturally. He closes the physical distance between them. He pushes aside the coffee table with one hand, pulls the distant chair, which Josephine was sitting on, close to him, and naturally places his arm on her shoulder. It seems that even with social anxiety, Napoleon's Italian bloodline and the influence of French culture he received have given his love life a boost. Thus, young Napoleon and Josephine officially enter the stage of cuddling and being a couple. As a viewer, I feel that this CP couple pairing is off to a good start. Napoleon's Promotion Chronicles. The process of Napoleon's promotion is simple. In a nutshell, he leads the troops, fights battles, and completes one mission impossible after another assigned by his superiors using his strategic talent. Each war scene is worthy of applause for the creative team. The close-ups of characters and smooth transitions between large-scale scenes combined with seamless post-production effects and set designs allow the audience to easily immerse themselves and closely follow the story from Napoleon's perspective. In the following sections, I would like to highlight some details in the war scenes that showcase the director's cleverness and humor. The first battle. The nervousness of young Napoleon's first battle is depicted through the night scene, lighting, and close-up shots of the characters' faces and chests, clearly conveying his pre-battle anxiety. Joaquin's portrayal of Napoleon's nervous state is spot on. After summoning the courage to charge, his warhorse immediately falls, indicating the treacherous nature of his first victory in battle. These details show the audience how hard-won Napoleon's first battle success was, allowing the audience to empathize with Team Napoleon, experience the challenges together, and establish an emotional connection. Battle in Egypt. The adept at expedition, Napoleon not only causes trouble throughout Central Europe, but also ventures to Egypt, located on the border of Europe and Asia, where he gets up close and personal with mummies while cosplaying as Indiana Jones during a lull in the war. For this scene, the director chose slow-moving shots framing Napoleon's side face with a French military cap and the side face of the mummy lying in an upstanding coffin. The tension is heightened by the gradually intensifying orchestral music. At the moment when the two faces are about to come into close contact, the background music suddenly stops, and through the use of physical laws and live sound recording, it tells the audience, "What are you thinking? This is a historical film, not fantasy." The whole audience in the cinema laughed. Battle on the Lake. This is another battle in history where Napoleon, with his intelligence and clever strategy, overcomes challenges by making best use of the geographical environment, winning a campaign through stylish maneuvers. Due to the lack of clear uniform distinctions between the two sides, the audience temporarily falls into the confusion of who's fighting whom. However, this does not prevent the audience from appreciating Scott's layout and shooting of the large-scale scenes. The director presents the grandness of the war and the insignificance of individuals through bird's-eye view shots, and the spread of blood in the water depicts the cruelty of war and the powerlessness of individuals. The romantic narrative technique depicts the inevitable topic of death in discussions about war. This battle on the lake suddenly reminds the audience of the phenomenal episode The Witness from the animated series Love, Death, Robots. Napoleon, covering his ears to signal cannons to fire, reminds the audience of the deaf night in The Witness. The night siren is underwater, while Napoleon's siren is in Paris. The night siren is adorned with gold and jewels, while Napoleon's sirens adored by the beautiful human body. Young Napoleon writes a letter to his beloved Josephine before each major battle, just like when they first met. He talks like a proud little boy, reciting his achievements. Most of his letters go unanswered, because it is difficult for any female audience to respond to young Napoleon's speech. Who the hell cares about his resume? Josephine only cares about when young Napoleon will come home, so she can send her lover away beforehand. Who the hell cares about how many heads he has taken on the battlefield? Josephine only cares if young Napoleon still remembers her warm embrace. Below are translated by Stella Wang, with a little helpful Q&A with ChatGPT. French Revolution is a popular theme that artists during Renaissance time explored. The two famous painting features in the film are displayed at Louvre Museum in Paris and National Gallery in London. The oil painting Napoleon Coronation was created by the French artist Jacques-Louis David in 1805. This moment seized by painting was stretched to its working process and recreated as in one-to-one duplicate. The production team used costume, jewelry, and set design, restored the environment that's depicted in this painting, adds sounds to the choir, includes artists' live painting process and fine-tuning process behind the scene, served a banquet of visual art to the audience. The painting Liberty Leading the People is currently housed in the Louvre Museum in Paris, France. Created by Eugène Delacroix in 1830, it captures Napoleon and his army's perspective at the moment. The audience don't know if the lady of the night who holds the flag knows whether the man stands in front of her had enough tender bosom at home. The film not only picked his perspective but also introduced a 90-degree angle from the painting, so the audience can observe people from the side view and Napoleon's face of determination. The audience can hear Napoleon's ambition. I must complete the task my superior gave me effectively and efficiently. The audience follows young Napoleon's viewpoint, saw the dark, buzzing crowd, then follows the people's viewpoint, saw Napoleon and the government's army behind him. The audience knows in order to get his promotion, Napoleon will complete the task. After young Napoleon signaled cannon fire, he covered his ears as he performs his signature covering ear action. Following the maneuver of the director, the audience first empathized with Napoleon, then observed the bloody broken bodies of the people. Very neutral, violence is violence, war is war. Not glorified, not degraded. The frank expression Scott used here have left some space for the audience to contemplate. In the behind-the-scene interview, Scott mentioned how fascinated he is to the origin story of a villain. If Scott had forged a charming, profound stained glass window in a Gothic church through Joker, then Napoleon is the Byzantine mosaic art with a pinch of awkwardness and comedy, bluntly explains to the audience the path of succession's ultimate destination in a patriarchal system. Far, far away from the buzzing city on a lonely island in the sea, a sunny afternoon, watching two innocent girls who are so young that can be one's daughter, wearing thin semi-see-through dress, having a sword dance. One with rosy cheeks, one with barely visible nipples.
Do you tell the difference?